TSH alone tells us almost nothing about how your thyroid hormones are actually working in the body. So think of the TSH like an alarm clock. Just because it's ringing doesn't mean you're awake. It may just be ringing. So TSH does not tell us whether your thyroid is producing enough hormone, whether your body is converting hormones properly, whether your autoimmune antibodies are attacking your thyroid, that would be Hashimoto's, whether your cells are actually using the hormone that is available.
Gaining belly fat in perimenopause and menopause, even while eating trim healthy and doing all the right things? Feeling exhausted, inflamed, and so done with the scale? Hey, I'm Chris Honeycutt, Jesus follower, trim healthy coach, and your midlife hype girl. I believe God didn't design you to live stuck, bloated, or burned out. This podcast helps you partner with your hormones, ditch the belly fat, and finally feel strong, calm, and confident in a body you actually enjoy living in.
Hi, friends. Before we jump into today's episode, I want you to know something important. Enrollment for my midlife fat loss formula is officially open right now. This is my 6-month coaching program for women in midlife who are tired of guessing, tired of doing all the things, and ready to finally see their body respond again. Inside, I coach you step by step through nutrition, movement, blood sugar balance, mindset, and sustainable habits, all designed for this season of life, not your 30-year-old body. And because this is a live launch, there are some powerful bonuses available right now. $400 off, an extra month of coaching, a 30-minute strategy call with me for the first 10 women, plus my full bonus stack, workouts, mindset courses, emotional eating support, and done-for-you menus. If what you're hearing on this podcast has been resonating, this is your invitation. So go to bit.ly/join fat loss formula. Again, that's bit.ly/join fat loss formula. The cart is open now, and I would love to support you inside. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Menopause Makeover Podcast. Coach Chris Honeycutt here with you today, talking about a subject that I cannot quit talking about because I see women in midlife with this issue all the time, and it has to do with their thyroid. And I have worked with so many women who go to their doctor, and their doctor says their thyroid is normal. However, it is not optimized. When your thyroid is not optimized, you will have the hardest time losing weight, feeling good, actually, because your thyroid, when that's really sluggish, you feel low energy. It really does affect your mood. It affects your hormones. And we are just now, I think, getting into a place where women are able to get the help that they need, especially like with Kiora. I'm super excited about Kiora. And there are practitioners out there that are helping optimize thyroid, but I talk to more women than not, and their thyroid needs some help. So if you have ever walked out of a doctor's office feeling dismissed because your labs were normal, but your body felt anything but, this episode is for you. And let me say this right out of the gate. If you feel like there is something off, you're probably not imagining things. You're not lazy. I'm sure you're doing all the things that you know to do. And it's not just that you're stressed, and it could be that your hormones are whacked out for sure, but we really don't need another lecture about, trying harder or a practitioner that is just testing your TSH and is not willing to look at all the other lab factors of your thyroid. That is not helpful at all. And we're going to be talking about thyroid health today, and specifically how to understand your labs instead of being shut down by the word normal. Because here's the truth. Normal does not mean optimal. And in midlife, that distinction matters more than ever. In my midlife fat loss formula, one of the things that I do as a coach in this group is I help them interpret their lab work and chat with their doctor. No, I'm not a doctor. I do not diagnose, but I will help them take a look at these numbers and I will suggest you may or may not be optimized. And here's what you can do to talk to your doctor. 9 times out of 10, they have to go find a new doctor because that doctor really isn't schooled or capable of helping them. And when they finally do get the thyroid support they need, they are happy, happy campers. So this is kind of a big deal because, over 20 million Americans have thyroid dysfunction. That's a lot of people. And up to 60% of those are undiagnosed. Now, that does come from ChatGPT as I was doing a little research here. And that means that more than half the people struggling with fatigue and weight gain and brain fog and hair loss and low motivation and stalled fat loss are being told that everything looks fine. This is not really, it's not fine. There's a problem here. There's a system problem. And as women in midlife, especially women trying to care for their bodies with wisdom, we have to become informed advocates. And that is why I am doing this podcast. That is why I get educated on this. And actually, this is a part of my story. When I was in my early 30s, I had no idea what was wrong with me. No idea. I was in a health crisis for 10 years. Ended up being a series of things, one of them being my thyroid. And I kept going to regular practitioners and they were like, you are the sickest, healthiest person I know. Your numbers are all normal. It wasn't until I went to an integrative practitioner and I left that office and I found out that I had a slow or hypothyroidism. I had Hashimoto's. I'd never heard that before. I had adrenal fatigue. Now, I was in a pickle at that point in time. I had the MTHFR genetic SNP, and all of that had just led me into this pit. And I didn't start climbing out of that pit, honestly, until I got to the root of that and began to get treatment for that. And ladies, I paid out of pocket. I didn't have the money. I was desperate. I was so desperate. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I stayed in it. I'm so glad I put that on the credit card. I mean, I'm not saying go drive up your credit card. I'm just saying we need to get to the bottom of things. And the integrative community has helped me tremendously. And that's usually where I turn people. So anyway, I want to help educate you. I am not a thyroid expert. I would say that Dr. Amy Horniman, I listen to the Thyroid Fixer a lot. I would say she's an expert. I am not. I am just bringing you personal information and also information that I have learned from certifications and also from different people and doctors and nurses and things like that. So the scripture, my people perish for lack of knowledge, pops out at me when I'm thinking about this, because when we don't have a knowledge of what's going on, then how can you work with your body? Like, I didn't know what was going on. I was trying everything, you guys. I tried different diets. I tried supplements. I tried fasting. I tried carrot juice. I went down the rabbit hole. So, and this was just actually part of my story, the thyroid. But what does an undiagnosed thyroid dysfunction actually look like? So let's connect this to real life here. So it can look like some of these things right here. Crushing fatigue that you just wake up and you do not feel rested. Stubborn weight gain or the inability to lose weight. This is a biggie. Hair thinning, dry skin, brittle nails, even losing the last third of your eyebrow, brain fog, forgetfulness, feeling mentally offline, low motivation, low libido, feeling flat or disconnected. And some of these we also feel as our hormones decline. So it's difficult to know, is it thyroid or is it hormones? And that's why we want to find a practitioner that is going to get
reminder
to the
in the
bottom
middle of today's episode. Midlife Fat Loss Formula enrollment is open right now, and the bonuses are significant. When you join during this window, you will receive $400 off enrollment, 1 extra month of coaching, a 30-minute strategy call with me if you're one of the first 10, plus my midlife workout programs, foundational Trim Healthy for the wise woman,
mindset mastery, emotional eating training, a bonus menu pack with travel and snack tools. This is not a quick fix. It's a 6-month transformational program that teaches you how to work with your hormones and your real life. So join me. You can learn more at bit.ly/join fat loss formula. The cart closes on January 28th. I'd love to see you inside. Again, you can go to bit.ly/join fat loss formula. The most frustrating part for me is that you just keep hearing, well, everything's fine and your labs are normal and this is just aging. And, aging does not equal dysfunction. Now, sometimes your thyroid is just sluggish and slowing down, and that happens because of menopause. We still need to support it, ladies. Sometimes your thyroid hormones are not even being produced anymore, and that's what happened to me. And yes, I wanted to do the whole natural thing, but guess what? That did not get me where I needed to be. And I ended up needing Synthroid and Cytomel, T3 and T4, which actually are more closely related to our body than even some of the other options out there. So why is your doctor maybe missing it? Most conventional doctors are trained to look at one lab. I'm just going to say this, it's their training. That's all. I appreciate doctors. I just went to the best doctor over here at TOA and got a plasma-rich protein shot for my hip and glute issue. Wonderful, great thing. But they're just not trained. And so they're just trained to look at that one lab, which is your TSH, your thyroid stimulating hormone. And yes, that matters. But TSH alone tells us almost nothing about how your thyroid hormones are actually working in the body. So think of the TSH like an alarm clock. So just because it's ringing doesn't mean you're awake, alert, functioning well. It may just be ringing. So TSH does not tell us whether your thyroid is producing enough hormone, whether your body is converting hormones properly, whether your autoimmune antibodies are attacking your thyroid, that would be Hashimoto's, whether your cells are actually using the hormone that is available. So that's kind of a big problem, especially in midlife. So the functional medicine, integrative medicine, looks at the thyroid health through a wider lens. And this is really going to be helpful because thyroid function doesn't live in isolation. It is influenced by many things. It's influenced by our nutrients, iodine, iron, selenium, zinc. It is influenced by chronic stress and cortisol, low carb diets, believe it or not, gut health. This is where most of the T4 is converted to T3. Environmental toxins and also genetics. So this is why just the whole, your TSH is fine, eat less and exercise more isn't a thyroid support way of doing things. Our body really is asking for support. So the complete thyroid panel that you want to ask for is to get a clear picture. And honestly, you want to find somebody that does these tests and also can interpret them. You may have a good friend that's a physician and they may order these tests, but they may not know how to interpret them. It's important that you know your numbers and they are interpreted. So we want your TSH, that's the signal from your brain, your free T4, that's your hormone supply, your free T3, which is your actual energy currency, your reverse T3, which is your metabolic brake, your TPO antibodies, that's the autoimmune markers, and your TGA, that's another autoimmune clue. Your TSH basically is your body's thermostat. And we want this in a particular range under 2.0, anywhere from 0.5 to 2.0. So a TSH above 2.0 often means your thyroid is already struggling. A TSH of 3.5 might be normal, but it's not optimal. So if your doctor says it's normal, but you're not feeling quite right, trust the symptoms. Symptoms are data. So let's talk about free T4. That is your hormone pantry. So we want this between 1.0 and 1.2. This T4 it's an inactive hormone. So think of it like you pull it out of your pantry to cook with. If you have a pantry full, but nothing's getting cooked, then you're still hungry. So low T4 means low supply issues. High T4 with a low T3 often means conversion problems. So let's look at your free T3. This is your actual energy. So we want this in the upper quadrant of the range. This is the number that determines your energy, metabolism, fat burning, mood, motivation. You can have a perfect TSH and T4 and still feel terrible if your T3 is low because that's your energy. So this is where so many women are missed. Now, reverse T3, this is your metabolic emergency brake. Our goal is to have this below 12. So reverse T3 rises when your body feels unsafe, and triggers that can cause this T3 to rise are really menopause can cause that, chronic stress, undereating or crash dieting, overtraining, low carb diets, illnesses, or heavy metals. So this is your body's way of actually protecting you. So we want to look at also the ratio between your free T3 and reverse T3, and that should be above 20. If not, your fat burning engine is stalled. So if you're having trouble, and this isn't just about losing weight, but if you are having trouble losing weight, thyroid is one of the first places I go, because when we get that supported, your fire is on, okay? Your battery is on. So when we're talking about thyroid antibodies, these are autoimmune signals. Our goal, honestly, is 0. Now, some practitioners will say under 9 is totally fine, and I can get that, but we really want them 0 and very low, because this means your immune system is attacking your thyroid. So the good news is early detection gives you some options here. Ignoring this does not make them go away. And for the thyroid antibodies, there are some lifestyle factors that you can really work on to help with your antibodies, and also medication can help as well. So let's talk about normal versus optimal, because this is a biggie. Lab ranges are created by testing the general population, including sick people, and averaging the results. That means normal often equals not actively dying. So there could be a big variety there, but we're not aiming for survival. We really want to thrive. We want to be optimized. So, I suggest if you have a doctor that's willing to listen, talk to them what you're experiencing and ask them for a comprehensive thyroid panel. And if they push back and they just are basically saying, this is what I normally do, and is not really willing to help you, it may be time for you to find somebody else that is willing to do that. And there are many online places now. Kiora would be one of my favorites. And there's other ones out there. I actually have a local practitioner that has me optimized and has for years. So I'm really grateful for her. There are people out there. It is worth it, ladies. It is so worth it. So if you are somewhat frustrated about this whole process, just know you're not alone and you're not stuck. There are some things that you can do. Your body is just seeking support. Honestly, it's just seeking more support. And sometimes we don't feel like we're getting that support from our current practitioners, but I'm going to suggest that you don't stop until you find somebody that will listen to you and that will optimize you, because your fatigue is real. I know what that's like. I mean, I've been so sluggish, couldn't get off the floor. I didn't think I was going to make it. Your symptoms matter. They matter. Even if your numbers look good, if you are symptomatic, you have got something going on and you need somebody to listen to you, because your health is worth fighting for. So keep asking questions, keep learning, keep advocating. And remember, normal is not the goal. Optimal is the goal. Friend, this is your gentle but clear reminder. Midlife Fat Loss Formula enrollment closes January 28th. If you've been listening, nodding along, saving episodes, and thinking, I need this kind of guidance, this is your moment. The bonuses go away, the price goes up, and the doors close. This is your chance to step into 6 months of coaching, clarity, structure, and support, designed specifically for the woman in midlife. I would love to see you inside. You can go to bit.ly/join fat loss formula.